Sup? What is up to all of my diehard YouTube followers? I know you've missed me. I've missed you too, but I'm back, and if this feels like deja vu, it's because it is. I am in my car in the same spot that I recorded the beginning of my Minnesota video, but let's count the differences. 1, I got a haircut. 2, it's hot outside. It is summer. It is still Seattle, so summer as much as it can be here, but it's been beautiful out the past couple days, and I've been really enjoying getting outside, as you guys will hear in a moment. 3, I've gone through some changes in these past 4 months. So the last time I posted a video, I just finished up my road trip, and I was feeling just kind of done with being on the road. I was dealing with some personal loneliness that I had been feeling, and so I decided to come to Seattle and bunker down for the summer. For any of you who follow my podcast, you'll know that I began a relationship when I got here. Unfortunately, that has ended, and you can listen to the podcast to hear an update on that. However, big things are on the horizon in my life, so I just wanted to talk to you guys, give you guys an update. When I got here, I got 2 jobs, and the first one was a serving job. I actually really like serving. I don't know, some people say they hate it or could never do it. I love it. And then I got a job at REI, and the workaholic in me, which is a problem I've always had, ended up working like at one point over 60 hours one week, and I was just exhausted. And the whole point that I came to Seattle for was literally to get outside. And I wasn't getting outside. I was working for what? I don't know. I have money saved up. Even working like half of those hours, I have a problem, you guys. So what I ended up doing, let me back it up. What ended up happening is I pretty much like worked myself into, I just like deviated so far from who I really am. For any of you guys know me, like probably know that I need to get outside, and the whole purpose of me traveling right now is just, even if I hang out in one spot, that's cool if I like get a job to get a little bit of money, but not at the expense of my real goals. So I had some time outside the other day, and it brought a lot of clarity. When I started kind of working a lot, I began deviating from who I feel like I truly am, and that unfortunately seeped into my mindset. Just in general, I began to feel very off my game. Like I just didn't really feel myself. It did inflict some damage onto the relationship, and that's really unfortunate. I could talk about that on a podcast some more. I'd rather just leave this about the traveling. It also created a pretty crappy mindset at work. Like I was just not happy working either. So in general, I was just like always upset, like just always frustrated. So I got a random time off, and I just spontaneously packed up my stuff and went camping with a friend. And I'm going to tell you this story. This is just a story YouTube video. Sorry for those of you excited for my footage. Just keep watching. But I went on this hike, and it was a pretty tough hike. And as some of you know, I do a lot of work spiritually. I try to meditate. I try to just really understand my connection with my higher self, my ultimate being, my divine person, my divine self. Call it intuition, call it God, but there is something that I connect with. And the best way I can describe it is that at times there will be this voice that kind of comes through, and then as it comes through, a whole bunch of other voices come flooding through with it. Voices that express my ego, my fears, my I think I'm better than someone else, just not the best parts of me. And so I'm trying to really hone in and listen to that first voice, the one that I feel like is guiding me to be my best self. So I was on a hike, And before that, I have had like other little mini epiphanies, but I went on this hike and I usually listen to music. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to music on this hike. I'm going to try to listen to me and like hang out with my thoughts. And as I was on the hike, that voice started kind of coming through. And because there wasn't really much going on, I was able to kind of dialogue with it and think I'm crazy. Whatever, I don't care. And I'm hiking up the mountain, and the voice comes in, and all it says is, it just kind of cues me. It's like, hey, you should run. I'm like hiking up this mountain. You can see I have some sun color. That's from the hike, and this was like 3 days ago. I got a lot of sun that day. Like, it's hot, and the voice is telling me to run. Like, my inner being is like, hey, just run. And I immediately was like, why? Like, that sucks. I don't want to do that. Like, that's gonna make me hot and sweaty, and I'll get tired. And automatically my brain just wanted to fight it. And so I used that hike to kind of practice not fighting it. So I would kind of hike along, the voice would come in and it would say, run from that rock to that tree. And I tried my best to just do it. Sometimes I'd even like roll my eyes and be like, ugh, like, and even that feels like resistance. I was like, no, I really want to just be in tune with this. I want the voice to create immediate action with no hesitancy, no fear, no ego, I don't want to suffer. I don't want to like be in pain. I don't want to run. I don't want to exert work, nothing. I just wanted to do it. So that hike really was a huge experience for me to just listen, to practice listening to that voice. It said run from here to here, and I would do it. And it was like making fun of me, not maliciously, but I would just be like in my head, like, okay, I'll run from there and there, and then I'll get a rest. And I would arrive and it would already be like, run again. And it was just proving to me that I can do it, that I can listen, and that it's the best thing for me is just to stay true to myself. And maybe it feels crazy. Maybe it's a little bit of like a game. Maybe I was just talking to myself. I don't know. But I ran halfway up the mountain and felt really good at the top. I ran halfway down. I met some guys on the hike that were also travelers, and it just really reminded me and inspired me. And when I follow that voice, when I follow my intuition, I just feel blessed. I feel like the things that come into my life come into my life. So it was after that hike that I just had this realization, like, I have done myself wrong, and not in any bad way. Like, we have to do what we do and then we learn the lessons, but I should never have been working that much. That's the reality of it. So I gave my notice to the restaurant, and I communicated to REI that I would be leaving within the next couple months, and I was gonna rearrange my schedule so I can have Thursday, Friday, Saturday off every week, and probably Sunday too, because I need to get outside, you guys, like, plain and simple. So I also kind of started making some plans for the future. I am going to go look at a van tonight. I'm going to bring you guys with, so that'll be a part of this episode, is to see what happens with my van. I'm going to show you guys what it's like when I practice using my intuition to make decisions. But today has just been crazy. Well, yesterday and today, let me tell you guys. So besides that hike, I went on another hike camp trip last night. So, buckle in. It's another story time. I left work yesterday and realized I didn't have to be anywhere. So I was like, I'm going to go camping again. So I looked up about an hour and a half north of Seattle area. There was a couple campgrounds, and I was like, they look beautiful. I looked at some pictures. They were by some like little mini lakes, and I was totally about it. Whoa, I just said the word lakes in this same spot where I said it like 30 times. Anyway, okay, lakes. There were mini lakes. And so I get to the parking lot, like I drive up there, I get to the parking lot, I'm ready to get out of my car and start unpacking, and I look at this app to show me like the trail that it's gonna take to get up there. And a couple people had reviews on the trail that said that their car had gotten broken into. Immediately, my fear came in. My fear of losing my stuff, my fear of my car getting broken into, my fear of being unsafe, my fear of, you name it. Like, I was just scared. And so I was like, yep, I'm not doing this hike. Fuck that shit. And then the voice came right on through and was like, you're gonna go on this hike. You should go. And the crazy part is there's no like negative repercussions of not listening to this voice, but everything has a consequence, both good and bad. So I have noticed that when I listen to that voice, the consequences are not negative. They're positive consequences. Like the way that it plays out is usually pretty a positive experience. And when I ignore it, I always kind of have this feeling of like, oh, like I probably should have done or should not have done that thing based off of what the voice felt like it was telling me. I hate that I'm using the word voice. I am internally, when I just, it's my higher being, it's God, it's whatever it is. Anyway, if you guys are still with me, good for you. So, the voice told me, hey, you need to go on this hike, even though it's scary. And I started negotiating with it. And I sat in my car for like 20 minutes. I looked up couch surfing. I looked up hostels. I looked up Airbnbs. And I was like, no, like I'm going to do something else tonight. Like I don't need to go. I'll come in the morning and do the hike, but I'm not going to stay overnight here. And I was just so conflicted because I realized the only thing stopping me was fear. And I was like, fear of what? My car getting broken into. It's so material. And my stuff getting stolen, whatever. And I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but I have too much stuff. Like, I got to get rid of some of this stuff before I move on to my next adventure. So I finally was like, fine, I'll go on this hike, but I'm leaving a note. So I wrote a note. I said, to whoever is breaking into my car, please don't break my window. I currently live in my car, so it is also my house. If you are really in need, I left my door unlocked. There's money in the center console, you can have it. If you are really intent on stealing my things, I obviously can't stop you, but please consider the negative impact this will have on me. So I left that note, or I made that note and I taped it on my window and I said, fine, if I'm going to go up this hill and leave my car overnight to be broken into, at least if they're going to break in and they're intent on doing that, then at least I don't want them to break my window. So I start getting my stuff packed, and I packed up all the stuff. Like I packed my computer even though I knew I wasn't going to use it, because I packed stuff that I was like, if they're going to steal my stuff, this is the stuff I'm not willing to lose. So I overpacked for this hike. And I looked in my car, I left it unlocked, and I did leave money in the center console, and I was like, well, if the least they can do is they're just gonna take my money, take my guitar, take my snowboard, whatever, just don't break my window. I was about to leave, and the voice, God, whatever, told me, take the note down. You don't need it. So I did. I was not happy about it, but I did. I did it because this is me trying to have faith. And I left for the hike. And by the way, this hike was steep, so steep. And I'm carrying like this 35, maybe 40 pound backpack up this mountain. I'm sweating my butt off, having a conversation with myself about how worried I am that my car is going to get stolen. I wasted so much time and energy thinking about how my car was going to get stolen. But I finally like negotiated the fear. Like I was really nervous that people were going to take my things. And then I kind of told myself, like, even as a joke, like, well, yeah, I'm trying to get rid of stuff anyway, so they're doing me a favor. And I even had this moment where I felt like I was talking to Jesus, and I was like, man, I'm insulting you because you were probably really scared when you went through your shit, and you like were in physical pain. Like coming back to a broken in car is just crappy. Like it's not actually going to hurt me. So I just found this resolution where I accepted the very worst scenario. And I was like, fine, I accept. If I come back and the car is broken, I'm not going to be upset. And that's pretty much like what my goal is now, is I am trying to delete the gap between when that voice kind of comes in and guides me and taking action on it and negotiating those fears and accepting the worst possible thing that could happen and just being like, yeah, if that happens, okay, whatever. And I'm talking about extreme stuff here. Like, I want to be able to accept all of it. Life is so short and unpredictable and temporary that I don't want to be dictated by fear. I did not want the fear of my car getting broken into to make me miss an amazing time. And the hike was difficult, but amazing for me. I got to the top. I followed the voice every turn, and it led me to this beautiful lake where I jumped into the water and made some food. I slept in my hammock. It was a beautiful experience. Like, I would have regretted not going on it. And so then I made the hike down in the morning to find out, like, okay, like, I accept if the car's broken into or not. I know that what needs to happen will happen. So if the car's broken into, like, that just is part of my journey. Something I have to experience. Like, it's calling me to happen. Whatever. So I get down, and graciously and thankfully the car wasn't broken into. And I don't feel like the voice or God was telling me to not worry because he or she, it, whatever, the universe was gonna take care of things the way I wanted. I truly was like, I know what's supposed to happen will happen, and I accept the worst case scenario. And I probably didn't even imagine up the worst case scenario, but I just wanted to truly believe that I could handle it. And so I took that mindset into the rest of my day today, and saying it out loud is kind of crazy. I would just recommend start experimenting with yourself, but I was led to, I needed to go to like a bank, and I'd never been to this area before, and I was literally guided without a GPS to the bank. It was just insane to me. Like, there were a couple signs that kind of gave me clues, but then I was kind of like, oh, I think I might be lost, but I was trying to listen to the voice, and it was like, yeah, okay, turn around, turn right up here. And as I turned right, I pretty much ran smack into it. It also just guided me to only fill up a little bit of gas at this one gas station, and I ran across another one that was like significantly cheaper. Like, little things like that just make you grateful for following your intuition. And there's a lot more to the story, but I'm like already dragging on and on. I'm going to go check out a van tonight, and I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride. It's my journey right now to just not have these chattery voices blocking me from doing what's best for me, from blocking me from my intuition. So I don't know if that was enough of an update. Comment below if you guys have any questions about what I've been up to or about anything I've said. If any part of my story was unclear, it's probably all really unclear and weird. I don't even care though. Like, today has been amazing. It feels so good to be striving. It sucks at times because God is guiding me to do things I don't want to do, but I know I have to. So I'm going to try my best. All right. Thank you guys for watching this huge update. If you like or if you don't like my video, please comment down below, subscribe, like, comment, smack all the buttons. In this case, the red button is good. I met a couple who are making an income off of YouTube, and so I would really appreciate your support by subscribing, watching this whole video, because I would like to see if I can make it. I want to do this. I'm going to do it. So, all right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Sabrina out.